Meeting is called to order, and we have a quorum. Yay! We're looking to approve the minutes of the April 8th, 2015. Oh, I'm sorry. That's all right. Let's do introductions around the table. I'm Carol Lozano. I am the vice chair of the appraisal committee.
Appraisal
board.
The new recycled member.
Rita Dan, Department of State.
Dennis Aller, Department of State.
Jody DeLallo, Department of State.
Keith Simon, Department of State.
Sharon Charlin, Department of State.
Carol Fansler, Department of State.
Amy Pensby, Department of State.
Mark Mastrobuno, Department of State.
Lillian Levy, Board Member.
Eliezer Rodriguez, Board Member.
And out of breath.
Another breath.
Buffalo.
Anthony Gersol, Board Member.
In New York.
Ernest Delaney, Department of State.
Dave Mossberg, Department of State.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. The first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from the last two meetings, and I believe that was April 8th, 2015, and August 7th, 2015.
I move acceptance of the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Any corrections or discussion? Hearing none, saying none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any no's?
Just for the record, it is 14.
Is it 14?
Yeah.
We went a whole year? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I thought we had one. Thank you. I stand corrected. I thought we had one in April. Before you is the proposed new regulatory law for the Appraisal Management Company Registration and Regulation Act that was given out to board members and made public as of our last board meeting in August. We did not have a quorum at that time. I'm open to the public comment period. Is there any comments? Do you have a motion to move?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? So moved. 2016 use map, David, that's the approval of the course?
So as everyone is aware, the current use PAP is set to expire at the end of this year. So the ASC and the use PAP appraisal subcommittee, they've developed the next edition of the use PAP. So really, in order to make sure that we can update our regulations to reflect that appraisers have to follow the most recent use PAP, we need to have a motion to change our regs to reflect the recent use PAP change. And so, we're planning on doing it by consensus rulemaking, which is something that we've done for every sort of update, and so that's what we're asking for.
Motion to approve the 2016-17 version of use PAP. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carol, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I was just wondering, does the law say that we just have to follow the use PAP, or it has to, it cites each different use PAP?
It follows use PAP. Our regulatory law follows use PAP. We have to accept
So, but so we have to approve every 2 years when it changes?
Right, new version.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Yeah, yes. Is there any nays? Motion carried. And David, also credit for review appraisals?
Right. So last year during the department's lien review, one regulatory provision regarding how much experience a review appraiser can claim on an application was removed. The department has still applied the old rule through our other administrative powers, but we think that it would make most sense to the public if we reintroduce that same language that was to some degree inadvertently removed in the first instance. So again, we would just need a vote to change the regulations to put back the provision which was once removed, which limits the amount of hours that a review appraiser can get, to make sure that they cannot get basically the same amount of hours as the appraiser would complete in their application. So they're not getting the same amount.
Can I clarify? So what you're saying is to put the regulation back in as it was previously, the same amount of credit that they received previously that was removed?
Correct.
But
I
they're
believe
not-
it was about a quarter. It was
Okay.
25% of what the actual appraisal would be worth. So I think something like a single family is worth 6 hours. So the
Right.
rule would say a review appraiser can only claim a maximum of 25% of what the original report would have been able to claim.
Okay, for clarification. Any other questions or discussion on this? Do you make a motion to amend to receive, to have credit for review appraisals in the amount that of percentage of what the appraiser would receive if they were doing a full appraisal? 0.25%, you said?
Yeah, I believe that's what it
1/4%?
was.
25%.
25% of what the credit would have been, okay. Do we have a motion to that?
So moved.
Any seconds? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any other business? Any new business? We're open for public comment period. Is there any member of the public present? Buffalo?
Nobody here.
New York?
No, no one's here.
Okay. Anybody we do have two public members in Albany. Anything that you would like to comment or ask?
I do have, I misunderstood, I guess. I thought that when you were all done with your proceedings, the public has an opportunity. I did have a question about the AMC legislation, but I thought I had to wait till everything was done here. So I don't know, do I have an opportunity when you're all done with the proceedings?
We're in the public comment period now. If you have questions.
Well, regarding the AMC legislation, I just wanted to find out whether or not any type of appraisal groups or AMC corporations, whether or not they have an opportunity to weigh in, or is it handled strictly internally as far as the legislation is concerned?
It has been open for public comment period by all of those parties since August.
Okay.
Okay.
And have any changes come about because of that, or no?
Go to ruling. Have Dave speak on it.
Yeah, it's, right now it's posted on our, website,
Okay.
and any public comments are, asked to be made in writing and presented, I think, to Carol. And then there's a regulatory process that happens, and David probably can talk more about
What's next?
what the rulemaking process is, but right now it is on our website for people to read and to be able to make comments.
And is there a deadline for that commentary period? Okay.
Not right now, there's not, but I think that when it goes through a rulemaking process, there is a time frame that, comments are made, they're given back, they're taken into consideration, and then changes can be made based on those comments.
At your last meeting, I was given a copy of it, so I guess I could proofread that against what's
Yeah.
online now to determine what changes.
Dave? Hey, Dave?
Yep.
Oh, did you hear that question? Can you weigh in just on the, people can see what the rulemaking was for the appraisal management companies. It's online now, but when it goes to reg, can you explain that portion? Because there are some deadlines once you do your part for comments, right?
Well, so it's sort of related issues. So what the proposal now is to make a statutory amendment to the executive law to create an entirely new article, which is something that's done through the legislature, not solely sort of through the department. So what happens is that this proposal is to create the framework so that the department can effectively regulate AMCs. Once the statutory framework is created, then the department is allowed to create specific regs. So that's what we actually just did on the last two votes, to update the use PAP and to do the other reg change. And then during that process, that's when you have the formal rulemaking comment, and that's when there's more of the statutory, the regulatory, deadlines and things like that. This is sort of just the proposal, so that the legislature, or that eventually perhaps, the agency would make a recommendation so that the legislature passes this as a bill. So they're kind of two different issues to some degree. But we can't do any sort of regulatory work at this point because the statutory framework doesn't exist.
So it
I
is
don't know
on
if that
our
answers
website.
the question. Sorry.
Yeah. So it is on our website for comments. So if there's, as written, if people have comments, they can comment on it to us, and they'll be taken into consideration, right, before the department puts it before the legislature for a bill, right? Is that correct,
Right.
Dave?
I mean, we'll incorporate and we'll look at these suggestions, but it's different than the rulemaking process. 'Cause
Right.
This is a legislative. It's similar but slightly different.
Is there a cutoff for that, Dave?
No.
No?
I mean, there's a cutoff to the extent that, as soon as the legislative session is over, I mean, I don't think we're going to be sending them anything. Or until, it's actually then going to be debated in the legislature. I mean, we don't really have control or anything to do with that to some degree.
Okay. Thank you.
Carol, can I ask, did we just get the gentleman's name that made the comment?
My name is Bill Smolin. I'm a working appraiser, and I'm president of an organization called the Columbia Society of Real Estate Appraisers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Could we play for it? I guess motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.